Welcome to Riverbend Talon on WBGZ. Brought to you by the Halpin Music Company.
Also brought to you by Matt Van Voorhis of Macias Insurance and Pigpen.
I'm brought to you by Matt Van Voorhis, and you're brought to you by Halpin. I don't know. I know Alex Honky's brought to you by Michael Crider. Bum, 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 bum. There you go.
Yeah.
Of Michael Crider Farmers Insurance. I said the bum, 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 and I figure everybody knows. I don't know.
Maybe.
I don't know. Sound recognition. I'm going for that. Hey, welcome to Thursday night in the Riverbend area, everybody.
All right, thanks.
Yeah.
We'll talk to you next week.
We'll talk to you next week. Hey, good night and good luck.
Well, those are the people that are like, oh, these guys are on. So, wanted to say bye to them.
Right. I like to listen to the first 10 seconds of these guys, and I'm done. Oh, my. So there we go.
Yeah.
Hey, it's a Thursday night, and tonight is a big one for us because we got a pretty special guest on.
Yeah.
Jody Hopper's going to be our guest. Now, we actually interviewed her last week.
This is like fourth appearance, maybe.
Yeah, well, you know.
No, that's how special.
I was going to say it's a... If we could have her here every week dogging everybody that we talk about would be perfect. Telling us about the days they didn't know how to tune a guitar.
Yeah.
Jody owned a local store here with her late husband, Don, and...
People don't know that, though.
That's why I'm saying it. That's why
No,
I'm
actually, I think everyone does
saying
know that. That's, the people that know.
I figure there might be one person out there that don't.
No, they tuned out when they heard us come on.
That was the person hitting the dial.
I'm watching everybody.
Hurry up, Martha. Turn it off. I hate these guys.
I got Bluetooth. I can watch anybody.
Well, Jody and Jody Hopper, Robert Shaw, going to be our guest tonight. Hopperfest happening this weekend at VFW. We'll talk all about it during the interview, but we got to fly through the gigs first so we can get to that interview.
You can fly. I'm going to walk.
You going to walk?
Yeah.
All right. I'm just going to kick back and watch it happen.
Everyone's headed down to the opening of the night market tonight.
Yeah, big night going on down there.
At the Pocket Park next to Jacoby's.
And Hookie.
Yeah, well, that's at 7. So I'm sure there's something going on right now.
Yeah, probably a good time.
I think the sea shanty guys should walk down there and do some sea shanties.
I think as soon as I don't know if walk would be the proper word. Stagger.
Fly.
Schwat.
You like flying.
Fly. I like to fly, man. Want to get a boat? Let's go get a boat. I don't know what's going on.
We could row down there.
The sea shanty folks should stagger down to the Pocket Park when they're done with their sea shanties at Morrison's Irish Pub and join the fun, is what you were saying, right?
Yeah.
I think that's a good idea. So if you want to get drunk and sing some sea shanties, head down to Morrison's Irish Pub. Happens every Thursday. 6 p.m. is the kickoff for that.
Yep.
We got Borderline, 7 p.m. at Fast Eddie's Bone Air in Alton.
We interviewed them recently.
We did, but those are some nice fellas.
They're in the can for people who like to tap into broadcasting terminology.
They're in the can. We will be playing that interview along with a Bonnie Bramlett interview.
Oh, man.
Both of those are sitting in the can because we've had so many festivals that we want to promote what's happening, right at the moment. And the funny thing is, I was going to play the Borderline interview to promote that they're playing this weekend at the VFW at Hopperfest. But once we got Jody, sorry, guys.
Yeah.
We'll play yours later.
They understand that.
I know they do. Acoustic open mic nights happening tonight, 7 to 11 p.m., the Conservatory.
Yeah.
Another open mic night, Ever Heart and Light, 6 p.m. at Baker's and Hale.
I'm not sure what I'm supposed to say. Maybe I should say nothing.
No, I'm waiting for you to kick
maybe
in.
Maybe I said yeah.
Yeah.
No, I'm confusing myself. Not sure what to do.
I don't know what to do with my hands.
Hey, I'm going to do the next one since I graduated from CM, which is Bethalto. It'll sound like I'm, tying it in.
There you go.
Anyways, Flip the Frog, 7 to 8 at Music in the Park in Bethalto. That's Central Park.
Go Eagles.
I guess.
I don't know. I'm trying to help your team, man. You said you were a CM
Well,
grad.
I was just trying to think of something to say because the truth is that's what I was sitting here doing going, what do I do? I haven't done this before.
This is my first time.
Yeah. It's feeling that way for some reason.
Did you not take your medication before the show?
No, I don't know if I did or not.
Oh,
It's
geez.
probably sunstroke.
I got sunstroke. It's just not getting warm, baby.
Yeah,
Wait till
but
it's
that's
110.
It's been a long time.
It's been a long winter, huh? It's been a long year.
Yeah, well, it's a little different when you're like holding all that equipment and moving around, and,
Yeah.
sun is sun.
And it is putting out radiation and heat. Thank you for that. All right.
Oh, no, radiation, really?
Suddenly it's
I
a
hadn't
science show.
Considered radiation. That sounds deadly.
Look, let's get back to what's happening tonight because I'm losing track of what's happening right now. Grafton Music in the Park is happening tonight. Happy to see that going on 7 to 9 p.m. Jake Weber and the Lonesome Drifters down at Grafton Music in the Park.
All that stuff started up 1st of June, I'm pretty sure.
Love it.
There was one we didn't mention last week that Scott and Michelle's playing this Wednesday, right? The Al Francisco Productions Music in the Park in Granite City. It's on a Wednesday, so
It's a tough one to remember, and I feel bad though because Scott and Michelle sent me a reminder, but it was like 2 weeks ago. It got buried.
oh yeah, well I had it, so
Yeah, thanks.
you know,
I'm glad
and
someone's
I
on top
remembered
of it.
to mention it because all these music in the parks are firing up.
I'm happy
You got
to see
the
that.
Pocket Park going now tonight.
Yep.
You got Grafton fired up tonight. You got Bethalto jumping on board.
And Fosterburg usually has one, but those are on like a Monday night. I haven't seen that one
Yep.
pop up yet
Yep.
this year. So,
And then we'll have was the Wadlow statue will do some. I think that's on a Monday or a Tuesday. And they're coming up, I think, closer to July. A lot of people were delayed, because of the whole whatever that thing was.
man, you said you were confused. Now I'm confused.
I know.
I just heard you say the Wadlow statue's going to do something. I'm like, is it going to blink?
Dance.
Is it going to dance? That'd be awesome, man.
Yep.
Get jiggy with it. A lot of people don't know, but right now they got the full Monties going on up at the Alton Little Theater, getting ready to start, and the real full Monty, Robert Wadlow, is part of that crew.
There you go.
I don't know if any of that's true. I know it's true that Cabin Fever is going to be at Wiggler's tonight from 5 to 9 p.m., or at least this piece of paper says it's true.
You sure sound like you know what you're doing.
God.
Laney and Julie, 6 o'clock at Big Daddy's in Edwardsville. See, I did one for Thursday.
There you go.
Well,
there you go.
We're going to go over. That
Let's
took
do
us
it.
15 minutes.
I know. We got to. Well, let's pick up the
Just to do
pace.
Thursday.
I said let's fly. You said let's walk.
I know.
I know.
I had to fly last week and didn't even get through everything.
All right. Well, let's pick up the pace. Why don't you take off?
We got to fly now?
No, just pick up the pace.
Brother Lee and the Leather Jackals. That was faster. SweetTalker and Apex Shrine. 8 o'clock at the Conservatory, Friday night in Alton.
There you go. Socialite, 2 to 6 p.m., and then all mixed up, 7:30 to 11 at Fast Eddie's Bon Air.
Of course, they got the pianos at Ragin Cajun.
And we've got dueling pianos at the Lovejoy Lodge, too.
Yeah, lots of pianos Friday
yeah.
night. Dustin Coleman at Bakers and Hale on Friday.
We got Mo Pleasure, 7 p.m. at the Moose in Wood River.
Are we going to skip Hopperfest?
Oh, I was going to save it for last.
Oh,
But you go ahead, hit it.
well, that's why we got Jody Hopper on later.
Exactly. There you go.
For them people who are probably high and forgot to turn on the show at 6 o'clock. You know how that is, right? Anyways.
I'm sorry, I forgot.
Those are our kind of
I
people.
forgot to turn the show on. What are we talking about?
We got Jody Hopper on later.
Sweet.
About 52 minutes of Jody.
Excellent. Well,
We're going to talk vintage guitars. What else did we talk about? More than Hopperfest.
More than Hopperfest.
Which is an homage to royalty of Jody Hopper.
There you go. And tonight you're going to hear, or tomorrow night you'll hear Jeff McGee from 5 to 6, Agents of the Free 6 to 7, LIPE 7 to 8, Flatliner 8 to 9, POWERTRIP 9 to 10, and LEADFOOT 10 to 12 at the, there you go, yeah, at the VFW in Cottage Hills. There you go.
They were able to keep their lineup intact the whole time on Friday.
I think that Flatliner might have actually flopped with J Lite because of a sound situation, but that's all right. Just go out; it'll be a good time. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
What else is going on? Jeremy Drake 6 to 9 at Big Daddy's
Inside
in
jokes.
Edwardsville. Soulshine Groove 7 to 11 at the Moose in Edwardsville. And if you're missing any of these gigs, go to cottonmouth.org. You can find them all there.
Can we stop now because that would take care of all of it, wouldn't it?
Yeah, sure, man. Let's do that.
No, because we love our friends that are playing out, and we want to mention them all.
Like Corey Sathoff. We don't know him. I don't. But he is playing 7 to 10 p.m. at the Outlet in Edison's. Corey, you want to be my friend? Get a hold of me.
We will know them
left.
someday if they get a hold of us.
Spilly Nelson.
We
Those
know
are
them.
our friends.
Yeah.
6 p.m. at Wigglers. That's tomorrow night at Wigglers and Holiday Shores.
Right.
Bloody Mary contest.
Okay, I'll pause right here just for a moment. So
All right.
what's going on in Collinsville this weekend is the International Horseradish Festival.
All
Okay.
right.
And they block off Main Street. They're not having live bands this year on Main Street, but all the bars around are kind of grabbing some bands. And the only one I could find that listed bands was Old Harold Brewery in Collinsville. But now you see why Bloody Mary Contest is at the top of the list. And that's what is going on big time in Collinsville. Lots of Bloody Marys this weekend.
All right. And with Righteous 5, 6 to 10 p.m.
This is like a 30-some-odd years it's been going on.
Ah, nice.
Yeah.
Much longer than the 5th anniversary of the Rocky Mountain Oyster, 7 p.m. at Judy. Sorry, I messed
Well,
that up.
actually, it's the 5th anniversary of the cabin at Judy Creek.
Right.
And
I was trying to read
Rocky
it
Mountain
cold.
Oysters are playing at 7.
That is a heck of a name for a band right there. You got to have some Rocky Mountain Oysters to name your band that.
How about Root Digging Nation?
That happened at Patrick's.
9:30 at Patrick's. Wouldn't that tie into Bloody Marys, maybe? I don't know. It's kind of a root.
Maybe.
All right. Scott and Carl, 6 o'clock at the loading dock on Friday. Jonathan Baker at Aries, 3 to 7 in Grafton. Flipside at the Yellow Dog in Warden on Friday night. And the Skylark Brothers, they're our friends.
Yep.
8 to 11 at Copper Fire in Belleville.
Jack Tweston's my friend.
And kicking things off Saturday this week, finally, some live music at the Alton Farmers Market.
Yay!
Joshua Grassley and friends, for those playing it at 1.5 speed, which you can do on the YouTube video, right? So you can get through this part really fast and get to the cool part together.
Also, we got the Miles Davis Festival, 6 to 9 at the Post Commons in Alton.
And all I had was a flyer on that, knowing that it's going on. I even checked the Facebook page for the Miles Davis Jazz Fest. It was all from a couple years ago, and so I have no idea who's played. But I'm going to guess. NGK and probably Tim Jardin, because they're normally.
Okay.
But if I'm wrong about that, hey, it was a guess.
I'm when I
and there was no education to that guess. It was just a guess.
Well, you know me, I like to cold read all this and not really prepare. So because I'm lazy, mainly.
It's not Miles Davis playing.
But no, I didn't think that. But I was hired to do sound last year, and then it got canceled, and I kind of thought, well, they would call me again, but I guess not. Anyway, that's all right. Let's see what else we got going on Saturday. Are we on Saturday now?
Yeah, we're on Saturday. We're doing Social Lite 2 to 6, all mixed up. 8 o'clock at Fast Eddie's. Pianos again at Ragin' Cajun. And the links there on cottonmouth.org. They'll have specifics on that, but they do it every Friday and Saturday.
Right.
Just like live music is always at Morrison's Irish Pub, but they don't really list who. So if you're just in the mood for Irish music, that's always an option on the weekend. Here's one, though, that everyone's going to enjoy. Who's headed out there to Baker's and Hale and Godfrey, who we commonly get great comments about. But this time, Pat Liston is going to be the entertainment from 7 to 11.
Good food, good music. Great music. Great food going on right there. Also, it's the second day of Hopperfest. We got Borderline 5 to 6, 96 Red, which used to be Hive Mind, 6 to 7, J.D. Dunham 7 to 8.
Where it goes wrong here. You know.
What did I say? J.D. Dunham?
No. It's at this point in the list is where everything gets turned around.
Well, let's just say the names of the bands. Unknown and Sailing, The Undecided, Sandwich Band, and Tripwire. Sandwich Brothers
Is that pretty
band.
close to
that's pretty close to that.
Yeah.
Pretty close to the
Just wanted to point that
actual,
out. That's been changing every other day.
I think it's Borderline 96 Red, J.D. Dunham, Unknown and Sailing, The Undecided, Sandwich Brothers, and then Tripwire finishing off the night. That is Hopperfest Day 2 at the VFW in Cottage Hills. We'll hear all about that coming up. Then we got Gypsy Soul 9 p.m. at the Pump House in Wood River. We got Scott Logan and Leslie Craig 3 to 7 at the Grafton Winery. The Graham Band 2 p.m. at the Hog Pit Pit in Grafton. The Yacht Rockers right down the road at Loading Dock. They're having at 5 p.m.
This is all Saturday for those just
Yeah, this is all Saturday. And then we got a Fireside, 7 p.m. at the Gold Bar at Rustic's Retreat in Grafton. A lot going on in Grafton. Also, our buddies Roaming Home, who are, man, those guys are good. 7 p.m. at the Oyster Bar in Grafton. NGK, 12 to 3 p.m., and then Soulard Blues Band, 3 to 7 p.m. That's at the Aries Winery in Grafton. That is a lot in Grafton.
Yeah. Well, that's typical for them.
Yeah.
You know, even if there's a flood and wipe them out, then they come right back and do this.
I applaud them.
So, yeah, we learned from Grafton.
Heartily
they
applaud
definitely have done an outstanding job of promoting their bands up there, promoting their live entertainment. All the bars are good at that. And that's why there's always a list of Grafton performances. Plus, what a great drive. And just the big knock is the traffic. I mean, but Grafton's not knocking that.
Anybody knocking that, anybody knocking that, all I got to say is go up to Chesterfield. There's no,
there you go.
there's absolutely no traffic going on up there.
Open road up there,
Yeah, Flatliner's going to be playing up at Wild Pickens up there 6 to 10 p.m. on Saturday. The Screaming Eagles 3 to 6 p.m. at the Marina at Holiday Shores in Edwardsville.
That's a benefit of some sort there.
All right.
Just FYI.
Strangers Duo 6 to 9 at Big Daddy's in Edwardsville this Saturday.
Blue Marlin, 6 o'clock at Old Harold Brewery in Collinsville, part of that International Horseradish Festival, still going on Saturday. RHB, 7 o'clock at the Cabin at Judy Creek in Glen Carvin. Have no idea what RHB stands for, but that's who it is. Dale Pap, 11 to 2 at the Melting Pot Market in Granite City on Saturday. We did the Blue Marlin one there.
Yeah, we got Beowulf, 8 p.m. at Roosters in Staunton, Illinois. And then my buddy Jimmy G and his band Worth the Fight, 9 p.m. at the Oasis out in Carrollton. I almost said it wrong. I almost said Carlinville. The Oasis in Carrollton.
Good things about that place, too. So.
I got friends in low places at the Oasis. I don't know. Jonathan Baker, 3 p.m. And then Long Shot.
No, wait.
At Long Shot Tiki Bar. There you go. And that is Portage de Sioux Mo, just across the river from us there.
I think that's basically the Cabana Bar we talked about in the past.
I think they've changed the name.
Reworded
Long Shot Tiki
a lot of
Bar.
Rebuilding during the thing.
Yeah, confusing me. So let's do a Sunday real quick and we can get to the interview.
Hollywood Duo, 1 to 5 and Cross the Line, 6 to 10 at Fast Eddie's. Cabin Fever, 3 to 7 at Doc Holidays and Cottage Chills. They are starting to book bands again. And trying to do like a Sunday acoustic thing and then rocking out on Friday and Saturday.
Excellent.
Kurt Copeland back up at Uncle Al's for his open mic on Sunday from 4 to 7. Trag Band, 2 to 6 at Grafton Winery. Jake Weber and the Lonesome Drifters, busy all weekend. 2 to 6 at the Hog Pit on Sunday. The Truckers, that's Anthony and Annie, at the Loading Dock in Grafton. Eric Lyslot at Oyster Bar in Grafton at 2 o'clock. Hookie at 1 o'clock at Aries in Grafton. Captain Keach and the Shrimp Shack Shooters, 2 o'clock at the Wow Pickers in Chesterfield.
I like that one.
Dave Horton Country, 4 o'clock at Big Daddy's in Edwardsville. World Powerhouse Wrestling kicks off their once-a-month Sunday performances. Remember they talked about that. This is the first one for the Sundays. Nice. That's at 5 o'clock at the VFW in Collinsville. I believe they're back inside, but it might be nice enough to be outside.
Nice.
I thought it'd be cool to see them outside in that big parking lot.
That would be pretty cool. What else we got? We got John Jarrett Littlefield, 5 p.m. at Patrick's in Granite City this Sunday. Then the Strangers Duo, 2 p.m. at Deutz Village Inn down in Pontoon Beach. We got the 34th annual Belleville Bicycle Poker Run. That is 1 to 4 p.m. with Scott Marlin at Fridays South in Belleville, Illinois.
And Outlaw Opry, 3 o'clock at the Long Shot Tiki Bar in Portage de Sioux, Missouri. We were trying to say that earlier, and we kind of stumbled through that Long Shot Tiki Bar. You tried to make it a band.
Well, they changed their name and it confused me. I'm very easily confused, but
it's a rebuilding year.
There you go.
That's where we'll start referring to it as that. That sounds way more positive than what really happened.
Absolutely.
Right.
We have rebuilt. Hey, let's get into that interview. It is
the thing went to sleep on us.
Wake up, computer. I'm excited about this. This is going to be interesting to all of the local musicians who ever walk through the doors of Hopper Music and Hobby.
You know, I wonder if anybody made it to the end of the undecided interview, which to me was the best part of last week's interview, especially because of Scott Robertson, right? He was going on in the early part of the interview about, not wanting to talk, and we were having a tough time. But then, and this is a perfect example, if you're wondering how Jody affects the musicians in this area, watch that video, and the moment she walks in the room,
he won't stop talking.
Yeah.
And he doesn't care that the radio's happening. He's totally oblivious
gets
to the fact that we're even
gives
on the
her a
radio.
hug, and that's pretty much how the whole room reacted. Right?
Watch the video. There's points where he's covering her mic to talk to her without it being on the radio because he's trying to just be, and that's just the way she affects, like you say, all of us. So,
what a good example.
Yep. Cool. Let's roll into the interview with Jody Hopper, Robert Shaw.
Riverbend Talent brought to you by Halpin Music Company and Mr. Matt Van Borst of CS Insurance.
And our engineer, Alex Honky. I started to say A Honky. We'll say his full name.
Yes.
Alex Honky.
Alex.
Sponsored by Mike Crider of Farmers Insurance. Bum, ba, bum, 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 bum.
And Money Shot.
And the band Money Shot, who was apparently making some money because they're playing all the time.
Right.
Good for them. Speaking of bands playing all the time, there have been a lot of bands. We I don't know how many times over the past 4 or 5 years, however long we've been doing this show, we've talked about how this little town has as many musicians as they've got across the river.
Easy.
How is it I travel all over the world? I was just in Louisville 2 weeks ago. Walk down the main street, not a band playing in one place. What's going on in this town, right? But in this town, there's always been, every corner's got a band practicing on it. How does something like that happen in a little town?
Every basement.
Every basement got a band.
In basements, right?
Yeah, and how would that happen? How would all the poor kids of Alton get guitars? Well, I know how I got mine.
I'm the cause of all that.
We're going to blame one person for the downfall of this society. No. I believe it's not the downfall, but the uprising of the society. Jody Hopper is sitting with us. Robert's with us. And any musician my age has gone into Jody Hopper's.
Or older.
Or older. Anybody even close to my age, within a 20-year gap probably. 20 years older, 20 years under.
Yeah.
Walked in there at some point wanting something you couldn't afford. And you walked out with it anyway. and we were all taught about money and how it works. Jody and Don Hopper started the store. What year? What year was it? 83.
January of 83.
I was going to guess 83 because I knew I was like 12, 13, right in that area.
Yeah,
walking home from East Junior High School down
Mayfield.
I take Binbo and then cut across and end up on Mayfield. And there's a peculiar man in overalls hammering a sign in a yard that says Hopper's Music and Hobby.
Yeah.
And I said, man, what are you doing there? You sell music? And he said, well, we're going to sell guitars. I said, oh, I want a guitar. And sure enough, I walked home with a guitar that day.
Electra SG.
A beautiful maroon Electra SG with these like custom with the inlays. I still remember it. And I learned a hard lesson with that guitar when I got rid of it. They don't come back to you as easy as you let them go. If you have a good guitar and you like the way it plays,
you better hold
on to it. Don't think, oh, I'm going to hawk this and get it back someday, because somebody else wants it just as bad as you do.
Yep.
That was my first guitar, and it started me on this lifelong love of chasing women and chasing music and chasing a party. All my friends learned how to play real good. I learned how to party and carry a guitar around.
Everybody needs to be something, you know.
All the other guitar players needed someone to make fun of. He can't play. I'm better than him.
We'll bring him along for kicks.
Right. If we let him hang out, we all look really good. No, I have always, I look back on that day as a day where I started that musical journey like so many, and I bet after that day you had thousands and thousands just like me.
I have.
Probably most little prettier than me, but
other than
that, we were talking about it. You were on with us last week when we had the Undecided on. We're recording this right after, so it just happened a few minutes ago. But it was last week in Radio World,
right?
And we were talking. It was brought up about how you had it was more than a music store. Tom Pullen said, "Oh, that's where we'd go get our head fixed." And he wasn't talking about your guitar head. He's
No.
talking about your head.
Yeah, we a lot of them didn't have nobody to talk to. So who's any better than me? I've been through it all.
You were like the bartender to all of us. Yeah, you just had Cokes in the
Right.
in the fridge for us, or root beers. But
Well, I couldn't trust all of you with anything else. You were young.
we was young and dumb, and now we're old and dumb. And
We just called it the old music store. Like back in the 60s, 50s, we'd talk about whatever. If they wanted to play, they played. If another group wanted to get over in the other corner, they played. You know, just try to show them a little kindness and that everybody's not against them.
yeah,
Some of them has hard times. You know, this world's kind of hard to live in. And
the struggle is real.
it is. You're so right. And yeah, I had a few that didn't lead up to what they was. But you always have a few. You know,
Yeah.
I had tons more good ones than I did bad ones. And I could name the bad ones, but I won't.
I'll post it on Facebook now. No, that says a lot about humanity, though, because it's so easy to flip on the news or even look out the window and go, I give up on humanity. They're all so worthless. I mean, you watch any news channel for 5 seconds, like people are worthless.
It's
But
true.
the truth is, if you get down and meet people, there are
yeah.
there are a lot of really good people, and the TV
And
just
kids.
depicts us as all.
Yeah, kids has always been my heart.
Yeah.
I don't know. I really wanted to own an orphanage. And I realized I didn't have that kind of money. And then, too, I knew I'd never be able to give one up if they got a doctor or something. So I thought, I'll go in the music business.
That's perfect. That worked out really good.
It did.
You helped just as many kids.
Yeah,
It
I
just in a
did. And
different
I
way.
got to
More.
enjoy seeing them get happy and,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure there were many days when you opened at noon and I was standing at the door waiting for it to open that you were like, why do I do this every day?
No, I didn't. I know one time you was getting a little mouthy and to another person, not me. And saying a few things I didn't think was appropriate. And I said, you either shut up or get out. And he looked at me and he goes, guess I'll shut up.
Back in the scrap days.
Yeah, that was
got
when he
that
was
name.
really young, yes.
Well, and I still haven't learned to control my mouth. I still say the
No.
dumbest things to people.
We tried to work on that. Some things you just can't change.
You can't fix stupid. You just can't fix stupid.
Not quite as mean now.
Oh, no.
Just more vulgar.
Right. Well, that comes with age.
Had to still be rebellious somehow.
I think I always had the idea that I wanted to make people laugh, but I've learned that you don't have to be really mean to one person to make two people laugh. You can just be kind of mean to one.
You have to go 100%.
You don't have to go all out on it. Well, I like I say, a lot of good memories of just sitting on the bar stools there and gazing at dreaming of what, man, I wish I could afford that. Oh, you had that great wall when you walked in the door up to the right there, where the stairs were, that were all the untouchables.
Yeah.
Those are the guitars you're never going to be able to. You wish you could afford one of them, but you can save from here to eternity, and I can't afford one of those. But it was always so much fun to just sit there and stare at that stuff and go, man, someday
I agree,
I'm gonna
because
have me a
I
Strat.
enjoyed looking at it, too. People didn't, a lot of my lady friends didn't understand. They're like, why do you like this? And I'm like, I don't know. I think they're beautiful.
Yeah.
They're guitars. But they didn't feel the way I felt, And I said, I don't know. I'd rather do this than anything I know. And I really, really enjoyed doing what I did. And I'm happy with the way things turned out. Most people were pleased.
I think most people I know were very pleased with it, and music is one of those things. I think a lot of parents, my parents specifically, my mom didn't want me getting into music. She didn't want me to be a rock and roller.
Right.
And it's like, if you don't understand that the music I'm listening to is the best preacher I got going right now. This is what's telling me the truth about the world
Right.
and help, And I don't think a lot of parents or
See
people,
it that way.
even people understand how music affects other people.
That's
because
true.
they're affected by film that way, or a book that way, or
Right.
whatever it is, going to church, whatever it is,
The news.
the news, yeah. I say it.
Unfortunately, yeah.
We were saying it down in Louisville. It was we call it going to church when you go to a concert. This is
Yep.
going to church,
Yeah.
baby, because you're getting and the musicians are up preaching to you.
Absolutely.
And a lot of people don't understand that love of music, and it was nice to have someone in town that not
Yeah.
only understood it but was willing to help us all
Right.
chase that dream, chase
that's-
that magic dragon down the
That's
street.
why I was there. Yeah.
So out of all the years that you did it, I can't even imagine. Like I just asked Tom and those guys, hey, what's the most memorable gig, best and worst? I imagine it would be hard to pick like best moments in all of those years, but there have to be some things that just really stick out to you that like, I can't believe I got to do that. I can't believe I got to do that.
There was I in particularly, I remember a guitar that a guy had been looking for. He didn't buy it from me, but he bought it from a friend of mine that had a store, and he had grown up a lot and changed a lot, and he wanted to get it back because it was his very first guitar. Yep. And his wife called, and she said, I know this is a shot in the dark, but so-and-so gave me this number and said that you might be able to help. And then she told me the story, and I said, I can try. I'll see. I'll talk to my friends that own stores and stuff and see what we can do. Well, I found the guitar. I thought it was his. I knew it was what he wanted, but I didn't know it was actually his first guitar. And I told him, I said, ship that to me. I need that. So I called and told her, and she said, oh, we'll come down this weekend. We'll come down and get it. And I'm like, okay, that's fine. So Don looked at it, set it all up, and I polished it, made it look good. So they come in, and most people don't know, but I have a few steps going up to my house and my store. He sat out on the steps and all of a sudden, he turned it over. And he's like, oh my God, this is my original guitar. We all cried. I mean, it was like, and he had those numbers memorized. Wow. He knew them.
Wow.
And it was a happy, sad time.
Yeah.
I mean, you couldn't help it. He was so thrilled over that.
Sure.
And of course, she was happy that he found it.
Right.
It meant so much. And I was just happy that it was the right one.
Not only the right model and right color, but the actual guitar, the same serial number.
And I don't know, you won't find that many times. I mean, sometimes if it's been out a year or two, this guy had not had this for 20 years.
Wow.
That's a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember when you told me that story.
Oh,
one of the
yeah.
times that
I don't think I'll
interviewed you.
ever forget that one.
Yeah. One thing, I got a story we probably haven't told about Hopper's music, and Robert's involved in this. Robert's here. We haven't talked about Robert being here.
Hi, Robert.
So since Scrap hasn't said nothing about Robert being here, and this happened. This story happened years after the shop closed, or at least it was open every once in a while. It wasn't open consistently, and I had a guitar that I was holding on to for one of the members of the back doorman, and someone had broke into my house and stole it. And so the first person I called was Jody, because the guitar had come from her shop. And this is good advice to anybody who gets something stolen. You might want to call Jody. And the reason is, she told me all the pawn shops know that Jody's the person in town that buys collectible guitars.
Right.
So if it shows up at a pawn shop, they're probably going to call her.
They're going to call me.
And that's exactly what happened.
Yeah.
So we thought, well, we got to get the guitar back. And we come up with this idea to just let the kid come in. And we'd kind of be hidden in the back room. And that was Robert and me and a couple of the guys from the back doorman who owned the guitar. And the young man came in, and we slowly creeped up behind him so he couldn't leave. and let him know what he had just done. And the funniest part I remember about it was that he was about to cry, and said, "Don't call the police."
That's what you're lucky. That's what you want to be done.
I said, if you look around the room, these are the kind of people that don't call the police. We're going to take care of this ourselves. And then he started crying.
Right.
Yeah, but we got the guitar back. But that's part of it's an ongoing legacy, because she has collected guitars for the entire time the shop has been open.
That's kind of what I started with, some of my collectibles and some of the stuff Don had that he wasn't supposed to have.
Things he was picking up and not telling you about on the side. Right. How do you not buy a $15 guitar at Works?
I've seen Don has. We went one time and he bought 4 guitars, and I think altogether he paid $45 for them. Right. And I looked at him and I said, "Why are you buying that junk?" He said, "I'll show you." And, it just looked like something you should have thrown in the trash,
Right.
So we get home, and he said, I looked at them, and some of those parts can be taken off and put on the good part. And he made 2 guitars and had some parts left. And he said, that'll give kids a chance to get a guitar for $35, $40. I thought, yep, that's pretty smart.
Yeah, it seems like he saw treasure in that pile of junk. He saw treasure in the trash. That's beautiful. Because you can't buy a playable guitar for $35 or $40, $50, $60. You might be able to get a guitar, but it's not going to stay in tune. It's not going to have a straight neck.
Well, that's what he was looking. Good tuners on one. Well, the rest of the guitar was trash. Good pickup on one.
Yeah, yeah. We got 2 good necks, some good pickups, some good tuners. We can piece together some stuff here. That's beautiful.
Yeah, I remember the story you told the first time you were on the air with me about the time that you bought the most expensive guitar that you ever bought, and how much anxiety you had the night before going to get it, and then the night after buying it, you didn't want to leave it.
I didn't want to sleep all night. I sat right there with. That was $26,000 I paid for that.
Now, what guitar was that?
It was a Gibson L5, but there was only 5 of them made. And I knew, more people was after this. I wasn't even trying to get it. I was in a grocery store checking out, and the girl that was the cashier, her husband traded at my store. Well, naturally, we mentioned guitars and stuff. This gentleman was behind me, and when I went over to bag my groceries, he said, "So what do you do? Do you buy guitars or sell them?" I said, "Both." And he said, "Oh." I said, he said, "I never heard of you." I said, "Well, I just have a very small music store. It's not like out on the streets and stuff." And he said, "I bet I have a guitar you'd be interested in." And I said, "Cool, what is it?" And when he said it, it was like I just froze. And I was like...
The Holy Grail.
I'm like, oh my God, this is the one everybody's wanting. And I said, "Oh, I probably couldn't afford it." And he said, "Oh, I think you can." So I couldn't get it out of my head. I just kept thinking about it. I gave him my phone number, and I went home, and I told Don, I said, "I want that guitar. I can sell it. I can make money on that guitar." Because in New York, they're brothers. I can't remember the names now, but they buy stuff like they pay high dollar for everything. But it's usually, like I said, 1 out of 4 or something. And Don said, "Well," I said, "Well, we have that much in savings, but I don't know if something happened." He said, "Where'd that come from? We can get more." He meant working.
Right.
So I was so nervous. I'd probably drink 3 pots of coffee that night. And I'd get the book and I'd read, yeah, it has that. It is right. That's the one, So he met me at a parking lot, and we did the exchange. I looked at it forever. I know the guy was tired. And I said, I just want to make sure of what I'm buying. And I kept looking for every little thing that I knew it was supposed to have, and it was all there. And So we exchanged the money. He gave me a bill of sale. And I come home. All the way home, I was scared to death that somebody would wreck me or something.
Yeah.
So I get home, and I bring it in, and I told Don, I said, I bought it. He said, okay. And he never questioned me on anything. If I said I wanted it, he said, that's up to you. You're the one that's... So he come in and looked at it, and he said, a lot of money. I said, it is, and I'm scared to death now. I said, I'm scared to go to bed. I'm afraid somebody will break in and get it. He said, nobody knows you have it.
Yeah, right.
Well, that wasn't good enough for me. I slept on the couch right beside it. So
like a new puppy.
So it wasn't the next day, I don't think, but a couple of days after then, my friend was going to Dallas guitar show. It's one of the bigger ones, you know. And I told him that I had it. And he said, no, you don't. I said, yes, I do. And he said, man, I've tried to buy that from him. I don't know. I said, I didn't even try. He offered it to me. Well, he comes down, and we both look it over again. And I said, I'm not going to get to go to the show this year, but I said, do you think you could take it? I said, I've already took out insurance on it.
Yeah.
And I said, do you think you could take it and maybe sell it for me? And he says, are you sure? And I said, yeah, I've got insurance on it. But I did that every time we went on a road trip. I took out insurance on the guitars. So, I don't know. I think he got there on a Friday evening, I think it was. And Saturday morning, he called me and he said, I know you're going to take this offer, but I got to talk it over with you. And he told me, and I said, hell yeah. I more than doubled my money, so I was happy.
Yeah.
That's good advice, though, to if you got something of value like that, to take out insurance on it.
Yeah,
I personally would call Matt Van Boord.
Yeah, me too, because he's one of my guys, yeah.
It got me to thinking, though, like an episode of Pawn Stars, which would probably happen in that store from time to time, that people would bring something in and want to sell it. And what I'm curious about is if anyone ever brought something in and asked you too little for it. Like,
yes.
You know, it's worth more than that.
Yes. I had a young guy that, what was those guitars when they first come out? I can't think of the name of them right now, but he said he had a Gibson SG that he wanted to trade on it. No, he had a Fender Telecaster he wanted to trade on that. And I said, okay, so what were you thinking? And he said, well, I figured if you could give me a little bit on my guitar, I could pay as much as $200 on. And I said, what? You know, and he said, I can't go over $200. I said, honey, another $100 and you can buy it and keep your guitar. I said, your guitar's worth twice as much as mine. And I said, how do you feel about doing an even trade? And he said, oh, that would be great. I said, I'll even throw you in a hard shell case, because I knew I was coming out on the... But he had no idea. He had bought it in Germany. Guitars are a dime a dozen. Amps are $1 million. I mean, any kind of amps you buy over there, you dearly pay for. But guitars, they don't value them like they do the... Of course, they make amps and stuff over there. So.
Yeah, you hear those stories, though, from time to time where somebody's cleaning out a closet or something, and they don't know what they have. They just pull it out and go, hey, it's a guitar. It must be okay, I guess. It's a guitar. What's this Gibson thing? I don't know what that is.
Well,
and show up at the shop with it, right?
Yep. I have to give Mr. Art Risby, too. He knew I collected Strats. I'd done that for a long time. And he was just a great guy to me. I know some people didn't like him, but I think they just didn't understand him real good. As Robert says, you like everybody. So.
Yeah.
But
she even likes me.
Of course they did. He called me up and he said, I think I've got something you really want. And I said, okay, can you tell me? And he said, no, it's going to be a surprise. I said, okay, well, we're closed tomorrow. I'll come over, because it was on a Monday. I mean, that we went over on a Monday. And he pulls this Jazzmaster out, not a scratch on it. Lake Placid blue with a Lake Placid blue headstock. I know that don't mean a whole lot to you, but it doesn't sell in it. And it looked like it had never been played. And I said, where in the world did you find this? He said, well, lady brought it in. She said her son wanted to play guitar years ago. Well, it was a 63, so it would have been years ago. And she said, he tried just a little bit and gave it up, didn't think he could do it. And he said in a year or two, he went to the Navy or Army, I don't remember which one. And she said he got married while he was in there, and he's in another whole state. She said, this has been in our closet forever. And she said, my husband and I are going to move into a more convenient place because it's just us two. And he said, he asked her what she wanted for it, which was unreal.
Right.
And he said, no, I don't want it, but I know somebody that does. And so he bought it for me. I gave $200 for that guitar.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
You couldn't even buy an a Series 10 for that.
Right. I was going to say, you can't buy a cheap little nothing. Well, you got the real deal.
But Art did that several times for me. He was a real, and when I first opened up my store, he even told me, he said, if you don't have enough equipment, which we had to spread it way out to make it look like we had something, and he said, if you need something to put on the floor, just come get it. If it sells, pay me. If it don't, well, come get it back.
yeah.
And I thought that was really decent of him, you know. And sometimes I'd call him and say, I'm looking for this for a guy, but I can't. Yep, got it. Come on over. So I really, really appreciated him.
Yeah.
He was a good businessman, and he was a good friend. So,
Well, it reminds me of how much we appreciate you. You know, that's where we got our start, and this is, you know, your beginnings, and this guy was helping you, you know, get started, and it's just blowing my mind to think that you needed equipment in that place because
I know,
by the
because
end, it's like we couldn't get rid of all of it. There was
you
so
couldn't
much
walk.
stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, there was only paths between the equipment.
It didn't take
and
long.
the guitars were hanging sideways on the wall. Because to hang them flat, there was no room anymore. Where, like you say in the beginning, you'd have 4 guitars hung across the wall, spread out 5 foot
Tried
apart.
to make it look like we had more. It didn't take long, really.
And I think in the beginning, Don might even had a few hanging up that weren't really for sale.
They were probably his.
That he just had up there to help fill it out, and I'd be like, "What about that one? That one's not for sale." Like, well,
It better not have been none of mine. Just teasing.
Yeah. So we could sit here and talk gear all night long. That's just the kind of people we are. But there's folks listening in, just in case you don't remember, Pigpen, this is a radio show. Well, you know, sometimes you forget, and I just wanted to make sure that the reason we are here is because you're having a little family reunion, right? Coming up this weekend, the 4th and 5th of June. And Robert, you've been working your butt off for a little over a year now. I think it was a year ago on Mother's Day that we had a little Mother's Day special for you, where we were on the Skype or whatever it's called. And surprising people with having them pop on the screen there and tell stories.
That was great, too.
Right. Well, at the end of that, Robert put it all on the line, didn't he? He said, we're going to have this festival, and we all kind of looked at each other like, this is news.
It's not easy either, is it? It takes a lot.
It's a lot of work.
Yeah.
It's a lot of work.
Well,
some stuff I didn't expect, but
we were sitting there.
It'll definitely all be worth it.
We was sitting there one day, and you know, everybody has their sad days sometimes, and just tears started coming down my face. And Robert looked at me and he goes, "What's wrong?" I said, "I just miss the store and my people so much." And he said, "Yeah." He said, "I know you do." And then he looked at me and he said, "Maybe we'll just start a fest, you know?" And I thought, "Oh, I'm not. You can." So
I just want to sit in the store and have people come in here so I can talk to them.
So he started telling me we could do this and do that. And it sounded really cool. And I'm like, yeah, go with it.
It is a blast. And that VFW over the past few years has become a great spot for this to happen. It's a lot of work, though.
Right.
And there are a lot of unexpected things that pop up. But, man, you guys have got a great lineup of old. There's going to be so many people being reunited.
I know. Can't wait.
Kind of my goal, I guess. Make it, kind of a little bit for everything. There's there's country stuff on there.
Yep.
I mean, you run the gamut as much as I could, to super, heavy stuff, which is like that's my cup of tea stuff.
You like the heavy stuff.
Yeah, I always have. I'm just a metalhead. I don't know.
Oh, man.
But I try to, I ain't gonna get in all that, or we'll be here all night. But my musical taste, but
My store was for all people.
Right.
You
and
know, all
you were
kinds of
able
people.
to dip into that talent,
Right.
too, because you had all those connections
Yeah.
still.
right,
so.
right,
Yeah.
yeah.
So let's talk about that lineup that's been put together. We got on Friday night, we got Jeff McGee starting out.
Yep.
Then Agents of the Free.
Yep.
I think I heard of those guys.
Yeah.
Then we got LIPE coming on, 7 to 8. Flatliner.
Yeah.
There you go, Flatliner. There's a country band like we're talking about.
He was showing
POWERTRIP.
his shirt for folks not watching.
Yeah.
I had one.
They
too.
made me a special one with a V-neck
V-neck,
because they know
yeah.
I'm weird.
Well, that's cool. They're great people.
They are fabulous guys. Then we got our old friends POWERTRIP. I have not
Right.
seen those guys for
Yeah.
a while.
That'll be the first time I've seen them in a while too.
Yeah, it's good.
They're not playing as much either, so it'll be cool to see them
Yeah,
out and,
yeah,
and
yeah.
fresh, like really wanting to do it.
Right.
Yeah, everybody's hungry to play, and then that Friday night ends with LEADFOOT. So,
Right.
man, that is a stellar lineup of local musicians going on
Right.
there. Like you say, a lot of old faces. That it's going to be like old stories going around.
That's just the first
probably
day.
something we don't want to talk about. That's just Friday night.
Yeah.
Saturday night, we're starting right off the bat, 5 to 6 Borderline.
Yeah.
Which I'd have a Borderline shirt on too, but they didn't make me a V-neck. I'm just
I
teasing the
bet you
guys.
get one after this.
I'm just teasing the guys. No, Borderline, another great country band. Like I
Oh,
said.
yeah.
Then here's a new one to me, 86 Red.
Right.
That's not a new band though, right?
Right. They've been
Well,
around for
about a
well,
year
it'd be
and a
about a
half.
year.
They've been on the show.
They actually practice in what was the store.
So they were actually on the show with us,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
under a
one-
different name.
Oh,
they were
yes,
Hive
they-
Mind, yes.
They think you two guys are
Yeah.
gods.
Boy, did you fool them.
Yeah.
I'm sure you straightened them out on that one.
Yeah.
Well, I told him we'll have to talk about it.
Right.
Dennis ain't a bad guy, but you stay
I
away from that
just-
pig pen.
Cannot imagine someone praying to Pigpen. I just,
Yeah. You know,
Oh, pig pen, please watch out for me.
they did. They talked to me forever about, and I'm like, yeah, I know them guys. And you do? Yeah. You know,
They are good guys. They have
They
changed
are.
their
Yeah.
name though.
Yeah.
They're no longer Hive Mind. They are now 86 Red, which I believe is going to be an easier name to
Right,
Google.
right.
I bet when you Google 86 Red, this band and maybe 3 porn sites come up, and that's it.
Yeah.
And,
probably Russian
could be Russian sites. I don't know.
from the 80s.
How come every Russian girl is either a 1 or a 10? You know, they're either just all like super hot or just nothing. I don't know if that's true.
Yeah, well, them
I
ones-
make all these facts up as I go along.
Them ones are hard workers, so. I know. Probably better than those
they're
10.
good looking if they just get out there and make the money.
Exactly. So then after 86 Red, 7 to 8 is J.D. Dunham.
Right.
Known him since we were kids. Always been a player. Then my godson, Unknown and Sailing. That is my godson's
Yeah.
band. So
Yeah.
they are playing 8 to 9, and that's right up your alley. That's
Right.
some heavy music.
It's Isaac Gruen. That's
Isaac
Darren
Darren
Gruen's
Gruen's son. Yeah.
Darren Gruen's son, Cottonmouth
Like
guitar player.
what's that? Second generation.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
Darren-
He played
Darren
drums with
played-
us
Yeah,
at
he
Bramley
actually,
Fest.
Isaac
Yeah.
played drums with Cottonmouth
That's right.
in 2019, and
Right,
now
right.
he's back on to guitar and singing, right?
I think we had him on, didn't we? Yeah, we had
we had
Unknown
him
and
on the
Sailing
show.
on, yeah. Check
we
a
try to
video
have
out.
all these people, all
Right,
your
right.
family. We try to draw them all in slowly.
Well, that's the only people we know, too.
Well,
So
yeah,
it's the
all
same
our
family.
if you shop at Hoppers, you're going to be on the show.
So that is 8 to 9 on Saturdays, Unknown and Sailing. Then we got the Sandwich Brothers Band, 9 to 10. Then the big one, we've got the Undecided, 10 to 11. That is a 36-year reunion on those guys. 36 years from when they started, and man, I know I did my time with that crew. I did enough tours of duty with them to know that that's a fun group of guys and
I'm
good
disappointed
musicians.
that you guys are not playing.
Oh, yeah.
I'm
Well,
really hurt over that.
well, we didn't mean to hurt you. It just hurts us to get together.
Yeah,
We're so far apart.
I know you are.
It's a 2-hour
Well, you got a
drive down
year.
and back.
You got a year to get it together.
Well, okay, well, we'll see. It took us, 30 years to put out a record?
It wasn't
Okay, it
because
wasn't
you
quite
ready.
30, I guess. It was.
That's-
No, we had some stuff almost confiscated by the police and some things that happened. You know, we had to hide at Jody's house. And I mean, the band members didn't hide there, but certain
No.
things were hidden there just to make sure
I remember this.
they didn't get confiscated.
There was also a bit of a situation with you guys were well, Butch specifically. I worked with Butch.
We can
as a
blame it all on
producer.
Butch because he cannot
no,
defend himself.
He was a bit of a perfectionist when it came to production value,
Yeah.
and it's what made him amazing to work with. Because even though I'd know that wasn't that great, but that's probably as good as I'm ever going to get it. I'd say, well, I guess that's a wrap, Butch. He'd be like, no, it's not. You're going to get in there and do it better. And,
That was a harsh album.
that was a
Right.
harsh album, but I bet he did a lot of the same thing with you guys, where he's like, we're going to keep doing this
Oh,
till
it's-
it's right, and that leads to 30
Luckily
years.
for us, we were waiting for equipment most of the time, so that was the excuse. But
Yeah.
I'm sure, unfortunately, he passed before. Once we got the equipment, we never had a chance
was a
to
great
finish
guy,
it with him. Alex finished the recording finally, but it took us several years just to get over that.
Yeah.
So
We hadn't even,
You
hadn't
lose
even
it.
talked about the Honky Boy.
yeah, he's sponsored by Michael Crider, Farmers
You're a professional.
Insurance. Yeah.
Yeah.
Dun, 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 dun,
also-
dun, dun.
Also, Money Shot. I think they should just take that theme and play it.
You
We're
know,
gonna have to
what?
talk to
There's
them.
one thing we got to mention though before we move on, because after the Undecided, we got one more band.
We do.
I was saying that's the big band because I'm excited because that's my buddies that are getting back together. But right after that, we got the band Tripwire finishing the night out, and I have not got to see Tripwire yet.
I
But there's a
Oh,
bit of a scuttlebutt going
They're
on,
good.
saying that they have got it down.
Oh, yeah.
They are.
They're good.
So I am looking forward to that. That's going to be.
No.
If you don't get your Paul Steinbrook fix after Saturday night, I don't know what to tell you, 'cause
That's right.
he's going to be tearing it up for at least
Both
a
of
couple
them.
hours.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he plays with the Undecided and Tripwire,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Who else plays with Tripwire? I know they're
You know,
familiar. Damon, right? From
Killer
LEADFOOT,
drummer.
right?
Yeah.
And then the one, I don't know the tenant's first name.
I
Okay.
don't know his first
It's a
name.
tenant.
It's one of the tenants.
He's the
Right.
What's
son
the
of
singer's
one of
name?
the older ones.
What's the singer's name?
I knew he was going to ask.
We have a list and we should have looked him up. You probably got some strange nickname for him that you
Howard.
can't
His last
say on the
name's
air.
Howard, but is it Terry?
Ron.
Howard, yeah,
Howard.
that's
Ron.
it. That's it.
Yeah, he was Opie, right? And then
Right,
he was,
yeah. He used to
Richie
be on Andy
Cunningham
Griffith,
later, yeah.
right?
That's it.
And now he sings Bark at the Moon.
It's really a short walk from one to the other.
Yeah.
We're closer than what you think.
Well, he's a good singer.
He is, yeah. Great singer. He's been with several different bands. Dirty Laundry, I think, was one of them. Several different bands over
Yeah.
the year.
All right. Well, man, that is going to be a heck of a lineup, and that starts tomorrow night. That is out at the VFW in Cottage Hills. You can see the stage basically from 255. They're right at the corner of 140 and 255. If you've never been there and you're driving around looking, just get close to that corner and roll your window down. Follow the music.
You'll hear it.
You'll hear it. And you think, well, wow, that sounds really good. That's going to be this going down. And if you are somebody who's ever stepped foot into Jody's, you should make your way
Yeah,
out there.
definitely.
If
Say
you're
hi.
just a younger musician who's heard all the older people talking about all us old fogies, oh, back in my day for $5, I could start a whole band.
Yeah.
You know?
Come meet that person.
Yeah.
Introduce yourself. Bring your kids. She'd like that the most.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
I've watched it go from them being a kid to them adults,
Uh-huh.
and then bringing their kids.
Grandkids
We're
now.
on
Sure.
that third generation
Yeah.
going on.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it the first time we had a mosh pit with the kids of the fans that we had. That was just mind-blowing. Yeah.
Time goes on, man.
Yeah.
Oh, shoot, I shouldn't have said that. That makes us old.
Oh, well.
I am ageless and timeless. I don't have a birthday. I just stay the same all the time. I get grayer and my body moves slower. But
I had 2 or 3. They're not worth it.
Yeah.
It
does seem like it makes you old when you think of how long it's been. But what's really happening there is you're realizing you're not as young as you feel inside. See, you really feel just as young inside. But then someone brings up how many times it went by, and you're like, that's a lot of times.
It is.
Have passed.
I often sit around and look at the group of friends I'm talking to and think, who are all these old people? And why am I hanging out with them, man?
My sister said that. She said, I look at people that I've known from, and I think, God, they look old. Do I look that old? I said, yeah, sure you do.
I don't look in the mirror, so I don't know that I look this old. I just avoid mirrors and just keep on thinking I'm 18.
I mean, we just had Trinity River Fest, and what was that, the 4th one now?
It was the 4th trip.
Already,
Wow.
and
I know it.
I remember you guys being at the first one that we made the film of.
I mentioned that.
And that's
too,
where
just didn't seem
your
like
ideas started spinning about possibly doing a festival. And then at one point, you were at one of those festivals out there and had to bail out the sound man, didn't you? Have to run and get some equipment.
Yeah, last year at Bushfest, when the stage got rained out. And, they had the equipment and gear all on one stage, but that stage got rained out, and it was wet on top, and so they moved it under the fish shack or whatever it is over there. And I was telling my cousin Doug, I said, hey, what you need is a small PA really quick. And we were trying to figure it out, and Robert overheard it and said, I got it. I'll be back. And it's those
Jody must have raised you too.
I've been through every phase with her, so you know what I'm saying, from being her kid this way down, whatever.
And she's been guiding you like she's been guiding all of us. And it has created the most amazing musical community. I brag on this town everywhere I go. When people say, I don't really know Alton, Illinois, it's like, you're missing out on a lot of music.
And that's true. That's very true.
There's the amount of venues. There's 4 pages from last week of venues that house music and bands that play.
And actually, we could have filled another one, but you have to quit at some point.
But Dennis puts this together. He stays on this side of the river unless one of our bands are going over to St. Louis, or like
now there are bands. That's hilarious.
A band from this side of the river. You know what I mean?
Or that's been on the show, because once again, I'm tying this into how long we've been doing the show now. And what he's talking about is when we first started, we'd look at the list and go, well, that's not too bad. And now we've been doing it for 5 years, and we're going, oh my. We had no idea all this stuff was going on, because what happens when you're in a band is you're in your little circle. And you're playing your normal clubs, right? And then for us now, looking from the outside in, we've been able to see all these bands have little circles, and we brought them in, and they've taught us what's going on out there. And
we've taken all these separate circles and made an Olympic symbol by overlapping just a little bit. But it'll eventually just become one big circle. Is the hope. But that a lot of what goes on around here, we give big props to you and to Don for hammering that sign in the yard that day, and Robert. She's higher than me. I swear. First time we've had anyone on the show higher than me.
But she's an angel. She's an angel. That's why she's high.
The devil, I know.
I've had so many people tell me that.
Well, you don't have to tell them they're wrong. It's all right.
I just have a hard time living up to it sometimes.
Well, I guarantee I speak for all of the musicians out there. We appreciate you. We appreciate Robert. We appreciate Don and everything that the Hoppers have done.
But I couldn't have done it without you guys either.
No,
so I appreciate all you guys.
You made it. You made it easy for us to do what we wanted to do, and then we allowed you to. In the process of us chasing our own dreams, you got to fulfill your dream of helping us all.
That's
true. What a beautiful dream to have.
That's true.
If more of the world had the dream of helping others, this would be, as Louis Armstrong says, what a wonderful world.
It would. It would.
I think Louis Armstrong, he's been to your shop pretty, hasn't he?
No, not Louis. Charlie.
Parker?
No.
No?
Charlie Pride.
Charlie Pride.
No, not Charlie Pride.
Daniels.
Yeah,
Charlie
Charlie
Daniels.
McDaniels has.
Daniels, yeah.
And the
Charlie.
band Fire Hose, not Firehouse.
Okay.
Fire Hose. I remember those. I got one of their albums, believe it or not. And there's not a lot of Fire Hose albums rolling around.
No,
I might have got them when they were in
You
town,
may have.
probably. Because I sometimes I get that and I wonder, who are these guys? But I'm going to listen to this.
Well, I went down to open up one morning and I could hear a lot of people talking. Well, sometimes I'd be a minute or two late.
Yeah.
And I thought, man, that sounds like a lot of people. So I opened the door and I looked and I didn't recognize anybody. And all of a sudden, Darren Gray stuck his head out and he goes, "It's okay, Jody, it's just my friends." I'm like, okay. So we opened it up, and that's who it was. It was the and he was going to travel with them. I do believe they were going to New York or something.
Probably.
And he wanted them to see some of my older guitars. And one of them, he said, "I don't have the money now, but do not sell that." He said, I'll send the money to you when I get home and you can ship it to me. And he bought one of the more expensive ones.
Nice.
I don't know, the drummer bought a bunch of sticks. They picked up stuff, know. But I'd like to shout out to Darren Gray, too.
Yeah. There's a guy that's come from this area and done fabulous with
yes,
music.
he has.
Yeah.
And he's a great guy.
We knew it back then, too.
Yeah.
Everybody did.
Yeah.
They knew he was going places.
If you saw like the early bands or the Dazzling Coleman, you knew that was another level of what was going on in the world in music. He was breaking some boundaries with what was going on.
He was.
With him and teaming up with like Blake Fleming. It's like, oh my gosh, now you've got two monsters from the area together. And it just grows from there. But yeah, he is he's one of the true guys, true players out there, and guys that lived it. So
I know someone who's been to your shop, Steve Scorpina from Pavlov's Dog and REO Speedwagon.
Yeah,
So,
we're big friends. Yeah.
our buddy Steve, he's the one who had us get
Bonnie Bramlett.
Bonnie Bramlett the other day.
Boy, was
just,
that fun.
Just a lovely person.
Yeah.
Just a lovely person there. So, well, Jody, thank you again. Thanks for coming down. Thanks for all
my pleasure.
all the good times, all the great memories.
We're going to relive them next weekend.
Come tomorrow.
This weekend,
come tomorrow. We're going to be
Yeah.
out of the VFW for the next 2 days. And I'm expecting smiles all around. I'm expecting smiles and hugs and
even Alex is going to be there.
And anyone who doesn't know what's going on, there's going to be music going on stage for 2 days that hopefully will encourage some of you to have sexual relations with each other after the show. I don't know if that's really
He had to get vulgar at some point, didn't he?
Well,
He just couldn't.
He's shutting it down. He had to say something.
He got the interview over. He's like,
I thought I did pretty good and scrapped foot.
yeah, I know.
I had to.
You were real good.
I just had to be me for a minute. No, I'm just saying it's going to be a good time. That's all
Well,
I'm
you
saying.
just said it. Everybody else was thinking it.
Right.
So.
Yeah, that's what rock and roll does. But hey, everybody get out to the VFW. It's going to be a good time. Everybody who knows Jody, come out and give her a big hug.
Yeah.
Give Robert a big hug. You don't have to, give his leg the action I give him, like a dog or anything. But, you give him a big hug. And it's going to be so much fun. I'm looking forward to it, man.
My dad slapped
Yeah,
that
we all
dog,
are.
Robert. My dad slapped that dog that would do that to him. So don't hold back. If he starts that, just whack him real hard.
Some of us like getting slapped.
Now we got to get him off the air.
We've gone too long. I'm only getting weirder from here on out, just so you know.
Because you're trying to get me started, and I'm not.
It's going to get real weird real fast.
Us old people need our medicine.
I'm overdue. I'm overdue by 10 minutes now. So, hey, well, everybody get out to the VFW. It is going to be so much fun. Big thanks to Robert for putting it on. It's a lot of work. It's more work to throw a party than what a lot of people think.
It is.
If you don't put money or work into a party, you have nothing. You got a conversation. That's all you got. So thanks
And we
for
don't
doing.
settle for that.
Well, no, we do not. We work very hard to throw good parties.
Yeah.
So, well, thanks for putting all the work you've done to put it together. Thanks for all the work at the store and everything you've done to help everybody out.
Sure.
Love you guys.
Love you too.
Looking forward to the
Love my people.
looking forward to the big party starting tomorrow. So, Anything else, Mr. Laird?
No, I guess we mentioned Matt Van Voorhis in there when we were talking about, insuring your equipment, right? That's a good idea.
If not, let's say it again.
Macias.
Matt Van Voorhis.
He's got that little building up there in Jerseyville. It says German on the side of it, right across from Casey's. Just stop in there and have him play you a song.
9.
You know what I was thinking is you pull up to that window. He sits like right in there, and you just put a sign out there. Thanks, Matt, for Riverbend Talent. He would love that.
And honk. Everybody just go by with a sign saying thanks for Riverbend Talent and honk.
Yeah.
Wait till you get his attention, then flip him off and no. Just
No,
roll
we
out.
don't want to forget he's a good musician, too.
He is a heck of a guitar player
Yes, he is.
and just a good-looking man. Have I mentioned
Yeah.
that? He's
Yeah.
easy on the eyes.
And so when I started the show, I'm like, the first person I'm getting probably is Jody or someone I know to come in. And so I had Jody come in, and we didn't have a sponsor yet. So this is how new the show was. And I'm like, okay, Jody, I'm going to put your show on the air. Oh, wait a minute. We just got a sponsor. And that sponsor is Halpin Music Company. And I'm like, I don't know if the first show I should do is about your music shop when I have another.
Yeah, it was a little uncomfortable right first. We didn't know for sure.
But of course it was Jody, and she's like, yeah, just when you get a chance, we'll do it. And I'm like, okay. So but once again, that shows you how long Halpin Music has been with us.
And how great those guys are, because they're not uptight about it either.
No,
man. Laid back guys.
No, I
nice.
won't call no names, but their bass player brought strings for me all the time.
No, they are the great guys, great people, and a great place to go get your music recorded.
I honestly remember you guys working together on things. If you didn't have it, you'd tell them to go to Halpin. That's a place to go.
What I do.
Uh-huh.
And they, I helped them get back some stolen equipment at one point, or a couple of times. They helped me get back some. So,
thanks to all those folks.
We're all in it. I mean, we have to get along. I mean, there's enough out there for everybody to sell.
Are you millennials listening? We used to get along, people now.
Yeah, really.
Hey, all those folks out at festivals are getting along fine. You ought to come out and check it out instead of watching the news all day.
Yeah,
there you
playing
go.
that stupid game.
Yep, there you go. So get out, and that starts, what is it,
See
5
what live
o'clock
people
both
are
nights?
like, right?
Both nights, the live music starts at 5 p.m. That's tomorrow night, Friday, and Saturday, going on till late into the evening, and you've got just a stellar lineup going on. So it's going to be so much fun. Thanks again, man. That's all I can say. Thanks to you guys for putting it together. Thanks to our sponsors, Matt and Halpin and Mike Crider. Bum, for
Money
Alex
Shot,
Honky
Farmers
there.
Insurance, yeah.
And everybody remember, this weekend you have extra homework. You're supposed to what? Get out and support.
Go to Hopperfest.
You're supposed to get out and support local music and art. The easiest way to do that is stop by the VFW. 5 to about midnight, both nights, going to be live music going on.
The history of Alton.
And the history of Alton, right? History of Alton's music right there. So I expect to see each and every one of you there on time, children.
I will try.
All right, thanks a lot, people. We'll see you out there at the VFW this weekend, and next week back here on Riverbend Town. I believe we got Lisa Grislack coming back with the sound bath, and we might have another special guest coming in, but I don't want to ruin the surprise.
Okay.
You just don't know who it is.
I got nothing. I got no surprise. I got nothing.
I think that's the end, Alex.
I think that's the end.